Hello and welcome to Salty About Health. My name is Dalaney Algier, and I'm here with my mom and co-host, Mary. So, Mom, why are we salty about health?
Good question. It's because both of us have had struggles, some more serious than others, and no one showed us simple ways we could jump into the driver's seat and take control.
And why are we sharing our views with our listeners?
Well, because we want our listeners to realize that it may take time, but with some simple knowledge about health, they'll be able to make a few changes and dig deeper to take control of their well being and live a more vibrant life.
That's fantastic. But right now, before we get into all of that, we just need to do some housekeeping. Here we go. This is an opinion-based podcast. This is not in any way offered as a diagnosis or treatment for any disease, illness, or infirmity for physical or mental condition or any other condition you may have. We are not doctors or practitioners of any kind. Persons needing medical care should obtain it from a medical practitioner. So, consult your practitioner before making any health decision. The opinions offered here in this podcast are ours alone. Again, we're not doctors, and the banter you're going to be listening to is our view and our view alone. Okay, that's done. We, of course, also want to have an open dialogue with our listeners. So stay tuned to the end of the episode, and we'll let you know all of the ways that we can connect. Welcome everyone to episode 37. While Mom and I have never had a problem sleeping, correction, Mom has never had a problem sleeping, we do know that many of our listeners might. So when Mom came across a few articles about natural remedies to help our listeners fall asleep and have restful sleep, she decided to combine them and give our listeners some easy tips on how to get some much needed rest.
That's right, Delaney. So many of our listeners find it hard to fall asleep and stay asleep, and apparently you do too, occasionally. So hopefully they will be able to remedy that after listening to this episode of Salty About Health.
Yes, I am a person who takes a very, very long time to fall asleep, but I get my best sleep in the mornings. How about you? Like for real. So after midnight is when I get my best sleep, and my husband gets his best sleep before midnight. So it can be interesting sometimes. uh, but anyways, we will hopefully explain on this episode how our listeners can hopefully avoid sleep medications that carry the black box warnings of harm. And we'll give our listeners some alternatives to try from nature, which have many effective sleep aids and enable the listeners to hopefully get some restful and fulfilling sleep. One in particular, melatonin, also good to help you keep away those gray hairs. So
Exactly.
we'll talk about all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Okay, yes. The CDC's 2016 report stated that 1 in 3 adults do not get enough sleep. And that is based on getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night. I know I do not get enough sleep. I do try, but it always ends up where I get 5 hours or 6 at the most. But I do try to catch up on my sleep on my days off.
So, for all of us, instead of reaching for that prescription medication when you're having a sleepless night, if you're stressed or maybe jet lagged, trying some of nature's sleep aids could be the better option. The first one we're going to talk about is my favorite, melatonin. So, it is a natural hormone associated with the sleep wake cycle. And melatonin is released by the pineal gland in the brain during evening hours, dropping in production when the sun rises. When the body's natural time clock, your circadian rhythm, is disrupted by things like shift work, stress, exposure to blue light from screens. That's why Mom and I are both wearing our blue light glasses right now. Melatonin levels can become depleted. And circling back to the screens, also looking at your phone right before you go to bed. I know a lot of people do it. During such times, Supplementing with melatonin could be a safe way to restore your natural balance. Experts suggest using supplemental melatonin in harmony with natural practices. So, taking it 1 hour before you want to fall asleep. I don't take it as much anymore because I was mostly, to be honest, taking it for the gray hair help. Got rid of my gray hairs, but I would take it right before. I'm a night shower, so I would take it and then I would jump in the shower and do like my night routine to go to bed. And so like that was usually an hour before I finally like was trying to fall asleep. Also stop using screens. Again, that includes your phone. So set your alarm, your wake up alarm on your phone before that hour, and dim the lights in your house. Luckily, the lights in my bedroom are dimmable, so I always make sure that they're dim while I'm walking around in there. If you do need to watch TV at night, we have family who, really that's how they fall asleep best. Make sure that you're at least 6 feet away from the screen. And you can further enhance the effectiveness of melatonin by getting exposure to natural daylight during the morning and afternoon hours. So if you can't be outside, sitting by a well-lit window to stimulate production of your natural melatonin as the daylight fades. And I think they make, what do they call them? Like daylight lamps too. They make lamps that try to mimic natural sunlight as well. If you really can't be by a window.
Yes, they do. Also, you were talking about you dim all your lights. I have a salt lamp in most of my rooms, and that's an orange glow, and that does not disrupt your sleep cycle. Blue lights and white lights, that people sometimes have for their night lights do. And this way I can get up anytime in the night. I don't have it in my room. I turn that one off. But if I walk through the house at night, I don't have to turn on anything and there's an orange glow. So that's helpful too for night lights, and it doesn't disrupt your sleep.
Yeah. And I mean, for like, I have a couple skylights in the house too. So
those
really
help.
helpful. Sometimes too helpful when the moon is very full on a clear night, but
exactly. But they're good to have. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just watched a podcast on melatonin, and the doctor on the video suggested just using 1 milligram an hour before you want to go to bed. There is a lot of research going on with melatonin and how it can help with a lot of health issues. But that is something for our listeners to look up and go down that rabbit hole on their own. I did add an article about melatonin in the notes, so that may get our listeners started. And like Dalaney said, they have done research, and people with low melatonin tend to get gray hair sooner. That's just one cause, and that melatonin can help with that. But that's something, again, our listeners should research on their own.
Yes, as we say, be your own health detective. Something that works for me may not work for one of the listeners, but I am happy to report that it worked out with my hair. Not much does with my hair, but
that's fantastic because you are young.
Yes. Okay, so as it turns out, exposure to sunlight is not only essential for maintaining a healthy circadian rhythm, it's a primary source for photosynthesis of vitamin D's precursor, pre-vitamin D3. There are more than 1,000 known genetic processes that are regulated by vitamin D3. So making adequate intake of this vitamin is essential for your body and your sleep. A 2018 meta-analysis of the association between vitamin D and sleep disorders found that study participants with vitamin D deficiency had a significantly increased risk for development of sleep disorders. Further analysis found that low vitamin D was also associated with poor sleep quality. There are 2 ways to get the right amount of vitamin D: proper diet and supplementation, which I think we had a whole episode on here about vitamin D. So
we did.
Yes. Yeah. I know for a while I was on a very heavy dose of vitamin D from my doctor because it just needed it. But also adequate sunlight exposure. So again, Those poor people in Ohio. Go on vacation, get some sunlight. Uh, in addition to daylight outdoor activities, adding foods like pastured eggs and fatty fish, and if necessary, a vitamin D3 supplement to your diet several times weekly will ensure that you're getting optimum vitamin D to support quality sleep each night.
Yes. And if they go back and listen to our episode on vitamin D, it helps with so many things, so many issues people have. Okay, so passion flower is a treatment for insomnia. You can enjoy a cup of passion flower tea in the evening, or you can get passion flower in tablet form, or even the essential oil to kiss your sleepless nights goodbye.
So you did
We
that.
sell that at the office, passion flower, and I have the tea. 2017 study of the effect of the medicinal plant showed that extracts of the plant, when administered via injection, not that you're going to do that,
Nope.
induced a significant increase in sleep time in rats. More time was spent in slow wave or phase 3 sleep, the deepest phase of non-rapid eye movement sleep characterized by delta brainwaves. Interestingly, this is the phase of sleep when dreams occur and is also important for consolidating memories.
And that is why my husband is a superhuman, because that is his only phase of sleep. Like even when he takes a nap, he'll be asleep for like 5 seconds. It's like, oh, I had this really vivid dream. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, a lot of people, it's hard for them to even recall their dreams. Yeah. Okay, so passion flower may contribute to a better night's sleep by upregulating GABA levels in the brain. Different studies have also shown beneficial effects on anxiety, blood pressure, insulin levels, and inflammation when using passion flower. But be cautious because passion flower acts as a mild MAOI, which is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which is similar to the effects of some antidepressant medications. Do not use passion flower if you are currently taking an MAOI because it can amplify the effects.
Okay. So another thing, there is no scent so instantly relaxing as fresh lavender flowers, which actually when I was on vacation, I went to an island where they grow lavender and it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
So like purple is my favorite color. So it was pretty great because just like the mountain was purple.
Did I tell you that we have this patient in our office? She came in and she was going to Oregon for a wedding, and she is allergic to, that's one of them, lavender. It's like lavender, rosemary, thyme, whatever's in that song, you know?
Oh no.
And literally she stops breathing.
Oh
She
my gosh,
stops
like
breathing for a few,
anaphylactic
yeah.
shock.
Well, she kind of comes out of it, but it's weird. And so she had to, during the wedding, they had to rip up their, all those herbs around their house. And she still got, during the dinner afterwards, she got a little sick. Well, she got sick, so she had to go to the car and wait the reception, but her boyfriend brought her food. Yeah, it was weird to listen to her. I mean, literally her throat closes and she stops and can't breathe. I've never seen or heard anything like it. It's pretty wild.
That is wild. Oh my goodness. Poor thing. Flowers of all things. Who knew?
Exactly.
Well, it's a good thing she didn't live in ancient times, because back then lavender was used as pillow stuffing, and adding lavender to essential oil and a spray bottle with distilled water to spritz your pillows is the modern way if you're not allergic and a convenient equivalent. Research has shown that lavender oil can increase your quality of sleep and may have the added effect of reducing anxiety. Another study found that aromatherapy using lavender increased both sleep quality and quality of life in women experiencing sleep deprivation in connection with menopause. Studies have shown that just inhaling the vapors from lavender can upregulate antioxidant systems in the body. On top of the sleep improving effects of lavender, this may be a health game changer. Other benefits include headache relief, topical treatment for acne, and blood sugar balancing effects. some suggestions to use lavender other than spritzing it on your pillow is in a healing bath. So add 10 to 15 drops to a bathtub of warm water along with a cup of Epsom salt and soak to relieve tension. You can use it in a diffuser. Diffuse lavender oil in your bedroom and other areas of the house where you spend a lot of time, or even topically. So mix a few drops of lavender oil with a carrier oil like coconut, almond, or even magnesium oil and apply it to the back of the neck, bottoms of the feet, and abdomen before bed. And again, listen to our essential oil episode. You can learn about all the great ways to use them safely. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so valerian root is known for being the inspiration for the anti-anxiety drug Valium. So it's no surprise that this botanical is valued for its calming, sleep-inducing effects. Valerian is the most widely studied herb for sleep and is generally recognized as safe by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Valerian is a popular herb that grows in many parts of the world. Both the mineral-rich leaves and the rhizome have been used in herbal remedies for hundreds of years. Most commonly used as a relaxant, a warm cup of valerian tea may be just what the doctor ordered for a sound sleep. In a study of 918 children under 12 years of age experiencing restlessness and nervous tics, 81% of patients had a distinct and convincing reduction in severity for all symptoms when dosed with a homeopathic remedy combining lemon balm and valerian root. I really like lemon balm. That's a good one too. I have that tea too.
Nice.
Children's symptoms previously described as moderate to severe by parents and clinicians improved to mild or absent in most patients. Researchers concluded that the herbal remedy was effective at treating restlessness in children and was very well tolerated. One of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to use valerian is in bedtime tea. It is also commonly found in tea blends marketed for nighttime use. So research also suggests that valerian is able to induce a state of relaxation through a series of actions that result in higher GABA production in the brain. Optimal GABA levels are crucial to improve sleep quality. And this was the second time we've mentioned GABA. So just a little information on GABA is a non-protein amino acid that functions as an inhibitory neurotransmitter throughout the central nervous system. It limits nerve transmission by preventing the stimulation of neurons. A lot of people will take GABA for calmness, something our listeners may want to look into. I've never really been able to muscle test for GABA. I've gotten it before, but it just isn't. But I will talk about, I do have valerian tea. And there is no warning on valerian tea, but I will tell you, except, that it will make you sleepy. So don't operate heavy equipment or drive. But there is one warning they should put on the tea, that is that it has a very strong pungent smell. And I'm putting that lightly. So for me, it's really overpowering, but for others, it may not be. When you smell valerian root, you will know you're smelling valerian root. It has a very distinct smell. So that's something you may want to take into consideration. Passion flower doesn't smell like that.
Sounds like our listeners may need to do tea roulette, which is what I do. So I just mix them. So why just put one tea bag in when I can put 2 or 3 in and see what it tastes like?
Oh, wow. You'd probably really be sleeping between passion flower and valerian. And,
yeah, maybe
you
not
might
mix those, but like a nice lemon and valerian, calm it down.
Yeah. Don't mix all this together because you may sleep for a few days. So yeah, try one at a time. See what works best for you.
There we go. And of course, the classic, the OG, the one that every movie, book, everything seems to prescribe to characters and people when they are sleepy, a nice warm cup of chamomile tea. Chamomile has become synonymous with sleepiness. Researchers conducting a study on postpartum women experiencing depression and poor sleep quality instructed a test group to drink chamomile tea for a period of 2 weeks, in addition to receiving standard postpartum care. Compared to the control group that did not drink the tea, chamomile drinkers had significantly better sleep scores and fewer symptoms of depression. It is thought that chamomile provides a sedative effect due to a flavonoid called apigenin that binds to Gaba receptors in the brain to promote relaxation. Apigenin is also well known for its anti-cancer properties. You can brew a nice warm mug of chamomile or use it in a diffuser. Additionally, chamomile oil can be combined with lavender oil in a healing bath. So that could be a really good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Regular use of chamomile will also benefit oral health, inflammation due to oxidative stress, better immune function, and digestion.
Yes. And in that bath, put some Epsom salt and you'll just be relaxed and sleepy.
Yep.
I love lemon balm. It is a traditional European remedy that has been used for hundreds of years to calm the nerves and improve mood. Also known as Melissa, it is commonly used for aromatherapy purposes and to improve sleep quality. The documented benefits of lemon balm are actually pretty broad and include antidepressant, PMS relief, antimicrobial, and of course, as a sedative. Lemon balm is thought to promote relaxation by increasing levels of the inhibitory neurotransmitter, Gaba, again, in the brain. It is thought to achieve this action by inhibiting the enzyme that breaks down GABA, allowing it to remain active in the brain for longer. Lemon balm can be used as a tea, tincture, or essential oil for the purpose of promoting relaxation before sleep.
Another flower that we can use, Linden Flower, is commonly found alongside chamomile and valerian in teas for relaxation. While the research on Linden Flower is pretty low, it has been used for thousands of years for the purpose of relaxation. Many report to have successfully used Linden Flower as a relaxing agent before bed, and a small amount of research supports the sedative properties of this herb. Although probably not the most potent sleep aid on its own, a blend of known relaxing herbs along with linden flowers may be beneficial.
Yeah, that's one that I hadn't heard of.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it's in the traditional medicinals, nighty night tea or some other,
yeah.
It's in those teas that you can buy. Speaking of which, those are great teas to buy because they kind of have everything in them. And then you don't have to worry, you just use one of those. So it's an easy way to get a lot of herbs we just talked about in one tea. And it can be found at most supermarkets, health food stores, and online. I would be remiss if I didn't mention again alternate nostril breathing.
Mhm.
Again, that resets your nervous system to parasympathetic to help you relax. So that, and one of the prior things, Dalaney and I just talked about, will hopefully give you restful sleep. Now, there's a few traditional medicinals are one of the
Mhm.
brands, but there are a few, I can't think of them now, but there are a few, brands that put out something to sleep and relax. And there used to be this one, and I can't find it anymore because they put melatonin in it along with like probably valerian and things like that. And it was very strong. I still have it. I haven't used the last few bags just because even though I buy melatonin in tablet form, but remember the neighbors in Arizona?
Mhm.
And she said that her husband couldn't get to sleep. He'd been having the hardest time sleeping and stuff. So, and at that time, you could easily get this tea. I said, "Oh, here, just give him this before he goes to bed." Sure enough, she did. The next day, she goes, "Oh my gosh, he slept all night. I had to like push on him to see if he was breathing or alive."
Oh my
Because
goodness.
it just affected him. He was like out. So they don't sell that anymore that I've seen. but but it worked. So
But yeah, there's so many options though at the store nowadays. Like you may not find that one, but
there
there's a lot of
is.
good ones. Yeah. So remember, sleeplessness happens, and hopefully you will find a way to relax and still enjoy a good night's sleep with the techniques we just discussed. If you don't like tea, definitely think about going the diffuser route for a lot of these. I think most of it was tea based.
And they have them in actually pill or tincture form. Like I know passion flowers in a tincture, and also, well, we said tea, but you can buy just the supplements.
Okay. So it also seems that getting to sleep in our society today is becoming more and more of a science and a challenge. Our body was designed to flow with the rhythms of the earth, but with the introduction of modern lighting fixtures, electronic devices, as well as just like the human invented work schedule, and the general fast paced lifestyle that we all live, sleep doesn't come as naturally as it should. So if you find yourself constantly unable to fall asleep and must rely on these substances, then it is possible that you have some deeper issues that need to be addressed. If you have chronic insomnia, you may want to take a look at your nighttime routine to ensure you're properly priming your mind and body for a night of rest.
Yeah, you had discussed our work schedules. I was just reminding me of a blog I read yesterday. They put out a question: what do these are all people who are retired. What do you regret in life? And I just remember one person writing, working more than 40 hours a week. So yeah, we do put a lot on ourselves, and some people have to, obviously, but
Right.
and also just a quick reminder, number one, that the articles that we use, where we got the information from, are in the notes. Plus I did put 3 or 4 other articles and things to look up in the notes. So that would be interesting for our listeners if you want to go in deeper. And also just remember to check with your pharmacist or consult a medical herbalist or your doctor to see if there are any contraindications with the herb you want to take and the medicine or medical issues you may have.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. And again, we want to hear from you guys. We always want to hear from you guys. Please, please, please reach out to us. And here are just a few ways that you can do that. You can reach out via Instagram and Facebook. Find us at Salty About Health. Even Snapchat at Salty Health. You can email us at saltyabout.health@gmail.com. Or if you just want to find all that in one place, check out our website, saltyabout.health.com. We've got all the ways for you to listen and connect there. And finally, if you like what you hear today, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. We really appreciate it. So, Mom, if they want to hear from you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, I am a certified health coach and I do coach one-on-one. So if you're interested, you can contact me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com. I also do research for people who are interested in finding alternative approaches to do in conjunction with the health issue or illness their doctor is treating them for. So again, just reach out to me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com.
And of course, I'll be the one mainly keeping an eye on the social media. So always happy to chat with you guys via the Salty Network. Also, just want to shout out our intro and outro music. It is by Yule, and you can find her at www.yulearts.com. That's EULARTS. You can also find her on Instagram at Yule_arts or Spotify and YouTube. Check her out. Her piano music and everything else is amazing. And until next time, stay salty.
Stay salty.